We made it.
You did it.
Yeah, we're only a half hour late.
Holy cow.
Well, they say
29
better
minutes.
late than never, right?
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. Oh, wow. So, okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of Supernatural Talk. We had a lot of technical difficulties, and it took us this long to get online.
We weren't thinking we were going to use StreamYard again with everything that's changing.
Yeah. Oh, StreamYard,
John.
how much I hate you. So, anyway, yeah, we're a half hour late, so we only got an hour and a half before the next show comes on. So we're gonna have to like blitz through this.
Yeah.
Tonight, our special guest is Beverly Zeimet.
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 Simon.
We actually got her by chance, like 2-3 months ago, to come on to get scheduled onto the show. And then the week that we were supposed to have her on the show, for whatever reason, she was not getting my emails. Not sure what happened there. So she gave
Technology.
me,
It's called technology.
yeah. Oh boy, do I ever love technology.
Hello, Carl.
Hi, Carl. So she gave me an alternate email, and that one worked out just fine. And I thought everything was going to go well until we tried to do the other studio for this show on Riverside. Did not work out so well. So Beverly, why don't you introduce yourself to everybody and let us know who the hell are you?
Well, when I figure that out, I could let you know.
You're actually the first person to do that.
That's true.
I like that.
You know, it's like the old saying, everybody likes a little ass, but nobody likes a smart ass, right?
Well, you got 3 smart asses to contend with tonight.
Oh, gosh. Well, let's see. I've been on the planet for a long time. Let's just put it that way. So anyway, gosh, you know, I was born and raised in the Midwest, a little farm girl from Iowa. Ain't no little farm girl anymore, I'll tell you that. And second oldest of 11, and life has taken me on quite a journey. Been in the automotive industry in every aspect of automotive. Had my own business. You know, at one point back in the 70s, I could rip a engine apart and put it back together. I could plane a head. I could bore an engine. You know, I mean, I did it all. I actually started at 4 years old when I got put in the inside of a combine, and my dad gave me a flashlight and a wrench and a piece of equipment. Says, "Okay, put this together," and he's telling me how to do it. So I guess I come by that natural, and then went into the body shops, went into um, detail racing, you name it. Spent 20 years in that business, and that's like I'm done. Okay, but I was always into the unusual things. I mean, even as a kid growing up, I was very intuitive. I didn't know that that's what it was. And, I mean, I saw ghostly figures. I thought everybody saw these things, but evidently they don't. Right. And so I was very psychic at that age and just knew things before they happened, and, but never had an understanding of any of that until I moved to Colorado in '79, and then I met some people who were actually seeing what I did and asked me, "Do you know what you're doing?" And I said, "I don't even know what you're talking about," right? And so I ended up taking civil mind control, and it explained my whole childhood. And I got really involved in the whole metaphysical realm of things, but always went into the other stuff, the unknown, the unseen, and being able to see through the dimensions and things like that. And actually working with entities and casting, possessions and things like that. Worked a lot the alien industry, I guess that's what you would call it. And it's like any organization, there's good, bad, and ugly all around. So, but I still find myself moving through all the different areas and intentional walking and things like that. Because to me, it's all energy and it's all different levels, it's all frequencies. And when you understand the dissolving of of the energies and things, where you could disappear, come back, things like that. Um, and I like being weird. I remember back in the day, I would fight all the time when somebody called me weird, but now it's like, oh, that's a nice compliment. Thank you. So, you know how life changes. And I've been spending a lot of time also in the virtual reality space, which is also known as metaverse, which encompasses everything that's digital and everything that's technical, right? And but virtual reality for me um, is another level up for business and everything. And so when you get into the fantasy world of that, it your mind takes you into the immersion of it. And it really isn't a fantasy because you move into that level of alpha state and theta. So you're more open to start feeling and hearing and seeing and being a part of the non-tangible solid physical world that we walk around in the skin bag. And so to me, it's like old home week, where you just go and can be in the interaction. So it does serve purpose for business, for education, for connecting people. And you don't have the mess that you have sometimes with Zooms and StreamYard and some of these other programs because it's very simple and easy to get in at one touch of a button. But so it's not for everyone, but it's available. And so right now I'm making my business in there and also teaching workshops. And we're actually doing some big shows. So we'll be having some lead in artists, that are musicians and just all kinds of fun things. So for me, life is always an adventure. And what's the next adventure? And where do we go? And all things are possible and everything's probable.
Jan was asking, what part of Colorado
Yeah.
did you move to?
Well, let's see. A week ago, I was in Fort Collins, and now I'm down in Lakewood.
And you didn't come say hi? Seriously?
Where you at?
Greeley.
Oh yeah, Greeley. Well, I'm going to be up in Evans. I'm going to be up in Evans in November, and I'll be there for 3 months.
Well, that's
10 really
minutes
close.
down the road.
That's right. That's right. So we're definitely going to have to just really get together and catch up. And I know I did call Zach because I was over there, or I think I messaged him, said, "Hey, I'm headed over this direction." So I was going over to my son's a few weeks ago, where he was having a big party, and then he wanted me to come over and help put the party together. And so I didn't make it to Greeley, but I will be up there for 3 months. November, December, and January. So
Yeah, when you message him, say your wife knows about it so that I do get the message.
Oh, Zach,
well, you know
you're in
what?
trouble.
You just have to give me your phone number, Adrian, and then I can just call you.
Yeah. Because
Yeah.
yeah, he has 2 phones, and it's constant, LinkedIn and whatever other platforms. I'm like, I couldn't. No way. I would take the phone and throw it across the room, and it'd be done. That's it.
Yeah. Well, you know how to get a hold of me. Email me and send me your phone number, and I'll send you mine.
Okay, we'll do that.
Yeah.
Colorado Springs, outside
Yeah.
of it. I got a real. Oh yeah. She
Yeah.
was telling me that story. Jan works with energy.
Uh-huh.
And she this is long before I met her, but she had some kids, and outside Colorado Springs, there was a tunnel. Correct me if I'm telling any part of this story wrong. There was a tunnel, and I think it was like a drive-through type thing. And the kids were seeing things, and she said that it was not good, and she
Yeah.
ended up not going through it. And it was I want to go see it just because, but
Well, I know Black Forest down there. There'd be some early mornings because when I was running sandpaper, I was dealing that, and I'd go in there in the early mornings, and sometimes it was dark in there, and it was let's just put it this way, there were movements not always recognizable,
yeah.
but I also seen a lot of the fairies and stuff too, in the timbers in the woods. But there was a couple of times when it was do 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 do, it's
Yeah.
like whoa, because you just see the shadows go, really fast. Yeah.
Yeah. So do you still see?
Oh yeah, all
Yeah.
the time. Yeah,
And
all the time.
it's you can see like all aspects, the elementals, the fairies, the spirits,
Yeah.
wait till you come to the house.
Oh well, okay then.
Oh yeah, especially when you go upstairs into her very red hallway.
House was built in 1908.
Okay.
This family was the second family that's ever lived here.
Oh, all
This
right.
is generational type thing. And now it's Zach and I, but we take care of his parents. And there's 3 stories to this house, and upstairs, I guess somewhere my mother-in-law's mother decided it was a good idea to put red carpet and red wallpaper upstairs. And I mean the hallway, the whole thing, red wallpaper, red carpet. And then the bathroom, it gives off it's built funny. So like there's different angles to it. And if you're just trying to concentrate, it makes you feel like it's going sideways, and it's really not. It's just the way it's built. You have to close your eyes and go, okay.
Well, when you look, I mean, you said 1908, you go back in that time period out here in Colorado, there's a lot of, this was the gold mine days,
Mhm,
and wow, there's so much in
mhm,
the wild, wild west out here that is still there. I mean, going through different towns up in the mountains and even moving through Wyoming. I've been
mhm.
all over Wyoming. Had a lot of my dad's family was out there, and I had several of my siblings that had lived out there. And I've actually lived in Wyoming myself in a couple of different areas. And when you start going back up into the hills,
Yeah.
right?
I
And
want
going
to.
going to
So,
Yellowstone, something. Oh my God, you ever been in Yellowstone?
no.
What?
I have.
I haven't. But I've seen pictures and video. I've seen that all. I just haven't been there myself.
Oh man, it's a beautiful place. It really is. I love Yellowstone, and I lived outside of Yellowstone about 30 miles, and so for like 4 months, and so we were in Yellowstone at least 3 or 4 times a week, hiking and all over. And I have a real good friend that lives out there in Cody, and he's an artist, and so he was able to go back. The Rangers took him back into the back country because there's like 300 waterfalls that they have discovered so far in Yellowstone, and they want to get them all painted,
Mhm,
right? And some big magazine is doing this with them, and so they took him in different areas, and then he could choose which ones that he was going to paint. And so he's got, I mean, every direction and different times of the seasons and stuff like that, and I have seen several of them that he's already painted were just spectacular. And it's like, okay, I got to come out here in the summertime, and you're going to have these Rangers take Beverly back there.
yeah. Yeah, we're doing a haunted it's not a haunt. We're taking a bunch of people for a fundraiser type thing. And we're going to do ghost towns.
Oh, yeah.
And
There's some really cool ones down in outside of Vegas.
you know,
Whoa.
Oh, yeah. Trying to find ones that are not privately owned is the worst because
Oh, yeah, that's probably true these days. Yeah.
we're going to do the tour. Somebody can give the history, whatever. If they don't want you, I can. I'll do the history on it. But we're going to do the ghost hunting on it. And, some people will go for just the scenery, and others are there for the ghost hunt.
Right.
And so, trying to find something that actually historical and might have some lingering things there. But they're all
Right.
privately owned around here.
Yeah, you might have to get out of the state because, yeah, Colorado is pretty much ate up everything. I know there's some in Arizona
Mm-hmm.
and some big ones down there where there's still movement that
Mm-hmm.
goes on down there. And there's quite a few ghost towns through the desert.
I
Yeah.
really enjoy going through the old towns. They're not ghost towns, but they're very old in Nevada.
Yeah, like a historic district.
Right, right. And I mean, you move out into that and get it's peaceful, it's quiet, and then you just start talking to the trees, talking to the sand, talking to the waters, talking to the rocks. You'll get all kinds of interesting messages.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and
Yeah,
if people would just stop and do it, you can do that in your own yard, regardless
you
of how
can,
city
you
you
can.
are or how country you are.
Well, I know when I first moved to Vegas in '89, the house that my partner and I bought at the time. It was interesting because I would hear these voices and like, what the hell is going on? And I just started seriously, so and it was all Native American, at one time, right? And Cathedral Canyon was big at that time, but nobody, I mean, it was a best kept secret, and but once it got out, once the news got a hold of it,
Mm-hmm.
it got destroyed. It's sad. I mean, oh my God, it's
Yeah.
sad. But and I started just going into meditation, and there were like two chiefs and a half a dozen warriors that were in the house that had been killed on that property. And so they were there. And so basically it was helping them cross, but they started, once they crossed, then they just came freely back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
And when a girlfriend of mine came over and we were going to go out to Cathedral Canyon for the day, which is about, oh, I don't know, 45, 50 miles out of town. So we were headed out that direction and getting ready to jump in the car. They decided they were going with us. And it's interesting because she looked at me, she says, "Who's the company coming with us?" And
Yeah.
it's like, "Oh, okay, so you spotted them." So I gave her the story. She's like,
Yeah. I mean, at that point, what are you going to do?
okay, sure, we'll take you for a ride. Out we went, and just being out there and walking across, and actually the story of Cathedral Canyon, the gentleman who was the keeper of the land out there at the time, he just lived in a mobile home, right, and lived off the land, but it was a landing field for UFOs. And there was actually a swinging bridge. So they called it Cathedral Canyon because it was a deep it was pretty deep. And
Mm-hmm.
what he had done is he had put all different kinds of pictures and different little statues and all kinds of stuff in there and made it just a sanctuary for people to come and just be in the desert and be quiet and just really, be with nature.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah, and there was actually a burial ground not too far from where the canyon itself was, and it was fenced around. There wasn't I don't know if there were any bodies left in there. I don't think so. I never felt any. but it was just kind of the remains of it.
Mhm.
But when you walked across that swinging bridge, and as soon as you stepped on the other side, you knew that there were ships around, and there was always ships in the sky out there. Vegas
Mhm.
was always full of them, and that area out there in at Cathedral Canyon um, was still active. Was
I'm
still
looking
very
at
active.
pictures of this canyon right now. I'm seeing some dugouts.
Can you show them?
Uh,
Share your screen.
I'll have to
Sure.
bring it up on the laptop.
I know here in the next month or so, probably 2 months, we're going up to Rosebud. It's a Sioux
Oh,
tribe,
nice.
and we met a lady, and I'm, from what I understand and what I read, um, they are one of the poorest tribes that there is.
Yeah.
She was telling me that there's one store for all the the reservation, and then I think there's 5 or 7 little communities out there, and then there's another store on the other side. $11 for a jar of mayonnaise, and and the dry goods that they have at the stores, or they're able to get, have weevils in them, and
No way.
it's just they're not living very well. Let's put it that way. They're misdiagnosed by the doctors constantly because they don't have the medical care that some other tribes do.
Right.
Oh, there we go. Okay, that's
Yeah. So that used to be a beautiful statue, and they've really destroyed it. Yeah.
okay. What
So
is
I'm
Each one of those little openings used to have really beautiful pictures in there, and just um it was just a meditation spot. Yeah, it's sad what they did, how it got destroyed.
that's awful.
Yeah, yeah. And they took
it,
of course, the bridges down.
it
They took
looks like it'd be a really peaceful place to go to.
Oh, the energies are so powerful out there.
I bet. I
Yeah.
bet they are. But yeah, we're going to go out there, and we've got a bunch of donations from the company, and Jen is getting together with us, and we're going to drive out there. And I am so looking forward to just, not too many white people have been on that reservation, and
No, no, they haven't. They
I'm just
haven't.
looking forward to talking to the chief, whoever that is at the time. Her brother is a medicine man, and just touching that land. I think that's going to be amazing.
Yeah, there's a lot of history out there, and there's a lot of sacred ground, and just
Yeah,
open your heart and just go.
yeah. She told me that she would
And
get us, ethically sourced sage from her land. So I'm like,
nice.
okay, that's worth everything I'm giving you. I will take it. But
Well,
yeah,
have you ever been out to Devil's Tower?
I haven't.
I've heard of Devil's Tower. Funny enough.
Yeah, that's out in South Dakota, and it's beautiful. And the natives still do their ceremonies and stuff before
Mhm.
season starts in the spring. Before any tourists are allowed in there,
Mhm.
and so they still honor that ground. There is actually an eagle's nest out there,
Wow.
and
Wow.
not everyone knows it's there or has seen it. But
Mhm.
again, it's when you know how to talk to the trees
Yeah.
and the eagles, they will lead you there. And a lot of times you might get a special gift. And, so when you start walking around, the Devil's Tower itself, but if you go out in where the plains are and stuff, there's well, all over Wyoming, you can get sage.
Mm.
And there's like 5 or 6 different kinds of sage.
Mhm.
but it has an aroma of its own. And I harvested a bunch of sage and took it back to Ohio to a friend of mine who was married to a native, and she was part Cherokee, and so they always had the powwows and
Mhm.
a lot of things going on and sweat lodges. It was awesome, and I gave her this huge thing full of it was a box that was probably 18 inches by 20 inches by 20 inches deep, and it was full, and it was already completely dried.
Oh
And
wow.
she had that for like 6 or 7 years, and it just kept multiplying because 'cause she'd leave it out, and she'd just put a sign on it and, "Take what you need."
Jeremy,
And
what
it
are you
just
doing?
I was gonna say, Jeremy, you have your big screen on.
What
Oh,
are you doing there, dude? Did you want to be center of attention for a minute?
I've got two keyboards here that I'm trying to keep separate, and I keep typing on the wrong one. Because I was looking up Devil's Tower. The one that I'm familiar with is the one that's in Wyoming, not the one
Devil's
in
Tower,
South.
it's on
That's what I was thinking
it's
too. The
on the
one in
border of
Wyoming.
Wyoming and South Dakota.
Well,
Yeah. It could be on the Wyoming side. I could be mistaken
yeah,
on
because
that.
the one that I
Yeah.
found is on the Wyoming side, but there
Yeah.
is something called Little Devil's Tower that is in South Dakota.
So,
Well, and of
Oh,
course, let's not forget too. I mean, with Devil's Tower, it's also attained notoriety, obviously, because it was featured in Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
oh yeah, that's yeah. Beverly, Jan is asking, you being in Wyoming, what did you think of Flaming Gorge? Did you
Yeah,
ever get to do the scenic drive into Utah?
I did. Yeah. The Flaming Gorge was interesting. I loved it and actually walked across it and spent some time up there quite a bit. And it it has a lot of history, and there's a lot of activity in the other dimensions as well out there. It's beautiful. It's one of the it's a breathtaking place. If nobody's been there before, it should be on a bucket list. It's beautiful. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm one of those. I don't want to know the history until after I've been there just to see if what I'm getting is correct.
Yeah.
So, and half the time, no, it's not. But, that's a whole nother story.
Like you guys see, Jan said, let's focus on Jeremy now.
Oh, there we
yeah,
go.
let's not.
Well, there's a lot
the
there's a
problem
lot of
when you
activity
have when
that
you
goes
got a
on
laptop
outside
and
of Laramie
computer side
too.
by side.
Oh, I
What
bet.
was that, Jeremy?
Yeah.
What was
Huh?
that? No,
I
you were
said, this
saying
is the
about
problem
laptop.
you're going to have if you got a laptop and a computer side by side,
Yeah.
keyboard next to keyboard, and you don't know which one you're hitting. I don't even know what I could have hit that would have focused on the screen like that.
Yes, there is.
Ah.
Jan says she lived in Vernal, Utah for a short time. The energy was very strong.
Oh, and Vernal, yeah. Yeah, I was up in spent a lot of time up in Craig and come down outside the
what's up,
mountain that
Blake?
direction.
Well,
Yeah.
that's right next to Skinwalker Ranch too.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's like real close.
Skinwalker and Bullfrog.
Yeah, there's a lot of history all over the world.
There is. And that's what I can't get records that go back far enough for this area here. But for some reason we've had, and I know families here, they come and go as they please, but there's been what I want to say is probably a farmer, but he had like a snap button-up shirt that was kind of plaid pattern, but it was a thin short sleeve one.
Hmm.
And he showed up here in the basement one day and looking for his wife and kid, and I was led to believe it was either she was pregnant or it was a newborn. And why he was looking for her, why he lost her, I don't know. But later, probably a couple months later, He was standing by my bed and never said a word, but he looked different, like he looked older. His hair was different, and that was the end of him. I don't know. I had somebody doing a spirit box session upstairs, and somebody kept saying, "Save the little boy from the well." You know, he needs help. He needs help. What well? There's never been a well on this property that we can see or that we know of. So still don't know. I think maybe this was farmland at one point, and who knows where it's
Oh, yeah, it definitely probably was. Yeah.
at. So I'm like, okay, I hope he found his wife and kid. I don't know, but we
Yeah,
have
Jen was
friends
saying she
people.
almost bought land up there in Craig. Craig
Yeah.
is kind of nice. It's I went snowmobiling up in the mountains up in there, and that was an interesting ride through the
Oh, I bet.
mountains. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I used to teach I taught a lot of workshops up there. Actually, the people who own the junkyard up there, Charlie and Ava, they're really good friends of mine. And that's what took me to the mountain in the first place. So, uh,
I don't
yeah.
drive in the snow if I don't have to ever. Nope. Mm-mm.
So,
I like the mountains. I just don't like driving in them, especially.
Yeah,
at
it's, see, and also that's kind of funny, all this talk about the mountains. I mean, obviously, I haven't really seen the mountains really since last year, but prior to that, it had been several years. Because when I was younger, I used to go to Colorado a lot with my family during the summer, like weeks. And I don't know if you're familiar with well, I don't know if you may have heard of this place, Beverly, Copper Mountain Inn. You know anything about
yes.
that?
Yeah.
Yeah, my dad, he actually used to work for them and sell coupons for people that want to go to Copper Mountain. So it was
Oh,
always
really?
yeah, it was always he retired from doing that a couple of years ago now. He doesn't do it anymore, but back in the day for us growing up, we used to always drive through in those mountain regions, to go to Copper Mountain, then of course go to the nearby towns like Breckenridge and Leadville for their street festivals that they would have.
Yeah, I had a cousin that lived in Leadville for like ever, and then my sister went out there and she stayed there for a few years, and then she went down into Alamosa, and then she ended up in Denver area. And so, yeah.
I
Have
don't
you ever
even
been to
drive
the hot?
through there. Mm-mm.
Sorry, what was that?
That's a lot of land.
Yeah, 500 acres is a lot up
Yeah,
there.
500. Wow.
Have you ever been to Hot Springs,
Yes,
Colorado?
I have. We had been to Hot Springs.
Yeah, you want to talk about some interesting history up there.
Well, unfortunately, at that time, because I was younger then, so I didn't really have as much of the interest in paranormal and history at that time. But we often
Yeah.
would usually go over. Yeah, that was something that we often would usually go like almost the last 3 weeks of summer. Not necessarily, but we get back home a week before school started for us. That was our typical summer vacation that we often took.
Well, yeah. I have to say the hot springs are definitely enjoyable up there.
They are. It really is.
Yeah.
Even
Yeah.
when it's hot outside.
Exactly. Well, it's interesting, staying up there in the hotels. It was like really like going back in time because no internet, no phone service, no nothing. I mean, it was like being back in the time when it was just a hustling, bustling little gold mining town. And so just being in that energy was quite interesting.
I was going to say, like, not much of it has really changed. I mean, obviously,
No, it
obviously,
hasn't
it's several
changed.
years since I've gone, understandably, but not much of that town has really changed. It still has that historic, almost like a time capsule, if you will.
Yeah, and it's almost like nobody dare change it. So like it every time you go there, it's the same no matter how many years have gone by. It's
It's only
just the
3
same.
hours from here.
Well, yeah, it's not very far.
I think it's time to go.
Yeah, it's just outside of Winter Park. So like if you're leaving Winter Park and you're heading over to Granby, instead of and then it's like 9 miles out of Granby.
I want to take Adrian to Mesa Verde. Well, come on, let's go. What you waiting on?
Cripple Creek.
Cripple Creek. Oh yeah, Cripple Creek's a cool little town. It was a lot cooler before they put the gambling up there.
Of course. No, of course gambling would take over.
Yeah, but it's still pretty it's pretty raw.
They're actually looking at putting a casino right outside of my town now.
They're always putting casinos
Hooray.
in.
Where are you at, Jeremy?
New Haven, Indiana.
Oh, okay.
It's
I wouldn't be surprised if they
just
set
right
up a
outside of
casino in
Fort
my-
Wayne.
I wouldn't be surprised if they set up a casino in my area too.
So where are you at
Well-
now, Nick? So you're not
I'm
in
in-
Colorado.
I'm about 20 minutes outside of Chicago, Illinois.
Oh, well, I just left Chicago, so
Oh, jeez. If I knew that you were coming into Chicago, I would have said, "Well, let's meet up."
well, I was in Joliet for about
Joliet.
a month and a half, 2 months. I was there helping a friend out, and then I moved back up into Arlington Heights and with another friend.
You were
I
just
lived
like-
in Arlington Heights
You
for a
were
while.
just like 15 minutes away
Yeah,
from
that's
me.
right up in your area.
Holy cow!
So where were you at up there by Arlington?
I'm in Glenview.
Oh yeah, Glenville. Yeah. I
Yeah,
was
so
over
you were
there.
just like 15 minutes away from me.
Yeah, I drove through Glenview. I was over there a couple of times because I knew some other people over that way. So.
Who knows? You maybe even because I also work at a grocery store, so who knows? Maybe I see you at the grocery store and didn't realize it.
Well, I didn't go grocery shopping when I was
Oh,
over
okay.
there, so
Well-
it wouldn't have been there. You know.
Well, maybe on the road, maybe we passed.
So we could have.
Well,
I,
so
I
that
went, I
would
went to
be-
the website that you were suggesting about streaming, and it took me to Calendly.
Oh, that's
And-
to set up meetings.
Well, get this. Standard pricing is $10 a month. Teams is $16 a month. But when you select the enterprise package, that's $15,000 a year.
What?
For what?
For teams who need more security, admin control support, and enterprise grade
What's the
procedures.
program?
It says Calendly.
Well, Calendly is just for setting up appointments.
Yeah, that's what Zach uses. No, that's
Well,
mm-mm.
Hell no.
No,
This is what it led me to when I went to your.
Well, you can get Zoom for $13 to $15 a
Well,
month.
we don't want Zoom.
So
Yeah, we used to use
We don't
Zoom, but
want
not
Zoom.
anymore.
well, go back
Yeah.
to Skype. Skype's still around.
Yeah,
Well,
but we
I
got to
thought it
stream
was
to
still
like
existed.
I was gonna say, can you
15
even?
locations.
I was gonna say,
Oh,
can you
well,
even
never
broadcast on
mind.
I was gonna say, can you even broadcast on Skype?
You know, I don't know. I haven't been in Skype for so long that
I
mean, I
forgot
know,
it
like-
still existed.
Well, I was gonna say, I mean, I know that it has been broadcasted like on major television networks, like CNN or Fox or whatever. But I'm not sure if you could actually. I don't know if you could actually broadcast it like online, like in this case with StreamYard.
I don't know. You know, and I'm not that familiar with. I mean, I can ask around because I know a lot of people that do live stream and see what's out there now.
We've had a whole bunch of people on this network that's been looking at all different places because everybody were using StreamYard, and now because they've doubled their prices, it's got to go.
Yeah, it's insane.
I'm looking at your profile here. I see that you're on EasyWay Network.
I've been on it. I haven't been on it for a couple of months.
Okay, because it said that you have a podcast coming soon called Beyond the Stage.
My podcast is up and running. I had my podcast. I did put it on Easy Way for a while, but I don't anymore. It's called
Okay,
Beyond the Stage.
What kind of show is that? What do you do with it?
Beyond the Stage, what we do is we help people find stages because it works with the virtual reality part of what I do. And I help people set up their own stages. So we generate worlds inside that virtual reality space. So
Oh.
where you can have stages,
Oh.
available 24/7. So we move you out of the Zoom and into the virtual reality because it's a space that's open 24/7. So we do a needs assessment, make a fit for purpose spaces, and teach you how to 10x your business that you can't do in brick and mortar.
Looks like we're losing Nick. Is his screen circling for you?
Yep, he's
Eh.
yep. See his picture there. Whoop, you're on mute.
He shouldn't be.
No, he
I
wasn't,
get it.
Andrew.
I get it. Now that's Jeremy's picture up there.
Yeah, he's having some technical difficulties.
Yeah, well, I just asked him in our chat. So, and there he goes.
Yeah, there has been so much going on with the internet, because I was in Lakewood and I started having problems here. Then I was up in Fort Collins and I had about a week up there where I had to get a different, I had to use my other hookup.
Sorry.
It's
Sorry,
crazy.
guys.
These last few weeks have been really, really bad. Not just with StreamYard, well, mostly with StreamYard, but also Facebook. It's just been bad.
I wonder if some of it is the solar storms going on.
I think so too.
Yeah.
But that's what I wanted to say quickly. Yeah, sorry about that. I wasn't paying attention to the battery. My laptop died, so I had to run over and plug it in quickly.
When you're on a laptop, you plug the thing to the wall.
I didn't even notice that I was at low battery, honestly. Jeremy.
Nick, I'm on my laptop.
Yeah.
First thing I did was I plugged it in.
Is your computer plugged in?
That's the first thing I did was plug it in.
Dan said, how about Verizon going down? And see, I knew nothing about that because I'm not on Verizon, but I was seeing it on.
Okay, my Verizon was just fine. Well, what had happened was it was Verizon, because I looked it up because somebody asked me, because they were overseas, because I was house sitting in Fort Collins, and they said, well, what's going on? Because their phones were dead over there unless they were on Wi-Fi. And I said, mine works just fine. And even Wi-Fi or no Wi-Fi, it was working fine. Yeah. But I think it was hit and miss, but it wasn't just Verizon. It was all the major ones. And they were saying, well, it's because of the storm and, that came through. And yeah, I don't believe 100% of that. But
I know half the people in Greeley, I mean, it went across the Greeley page. Hey, Verizon is down. And a lot of people were like, half of them said, yeah, I've had no service since, 2 a.m. or whatever. And others were like, it never went out.
Yeah.
Mine
I think it's just the location of wherever you were. Yeah, exactly. But
I'm on Boost, but it never went out. I'm sure Boost is connected to one of the major companies.
If mine went out, I never noticed.
Oh, Jan's still having issues.
Oh, it's bad. You can video with her, and it's constant glitch.
She's down Colorado Springs?
No, she's actually in New Mexico.
Oh, she's in New Mexico now.
She's actually kind of around. She described it to me. She's kind of actually around the board, kind of around a few borders of New Mexico, Texas.
Oh, she's at the border.
She's down by the Four Corners. Yeah.
Yeah, the Four Corners. I think Arizona too. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I've been to a lot of places down in New Mexico and Arizona, and yeah, sometimes you just don't have it. And usually Verizon's really pretty good all over because they're in a lot of the smaller areas and stuff. That's why I stay with Verizon. But boy, there's a lot of dead zones out in that neck of the woods.
Yeah, she's in Las Cruces, and she's never had issues before. And
border girl.
She's never changed. I lived in Carlsbad for 10 years.
Yeah.
And Carlsbad is, I mean,
Well, I got to just say for in this case with Jan, she's the border girl. Then I guess I'm the border guy then, because like where I live too, I'm not too far. I'm only literally like an hour away from the Illinois-Wisconsin border, and then also an hour away from the Illinois-Indiana border.
Wrong.
So,
Yeah,
and then-
we're in United States borders. We're talking another country borders.
wait, that's what she's referring to. Okay,
Uh-huh.
I thought she was referring to state borders.
No.
No,
This
no,
is
no, no.
another country borders and whole. It is a whole.
Yeah, it's a whole nother world down there where she is in Las Cruces.
Yeah, I know it is.
Oh, yeah.
Hola, ¿cómo está? ¿Cómo te llamas?
20 minutes to
Contenta
Mexico.
She was
Yeah,
telling
20
me
minutes to
why.
Mexico and then 6 months back to America.
I tell you what, we used to go down there to go shopping.
Live off
And-
international waters.
You don't do that no more because I worked with a young lady. Her family lived down there. She was born in the United States. She just went to go visit her family. They had guns to their heads and were put on the ground, and they thought they were someone else, and they about got killed. And spoke fluent Spanish. And she ain't going back either. And I'm not going. Nope.
Yeah, it's Mexico isn't a place that was on my bucket list ever. I won a couple boat rides, and down on cruises and stuff. But okay, I enjoyed it while I was there. But would I race back? No. But give me a ticket to Canada and I'm there.
Yeah, I mean, when I was young, we traveled everywhere, and looking back now, it was a different world.
Oh,
But-
way different
Was.
world. I mean, just in the last 5-6 years, maybe 10 years tops, it's not the same place in any way, shape, or form.
No, and we've made enemies with almost every country at this point.
Yeah, well, we know who we can thank for that one, right?
And it's one of those things where when I was younger, I'm 50 now, and my parents, we used to go Costa Rica, Puerto Rico, everywhere, Mexico. And I remember them going to Mexico one year and giving a guy $100 bill, just some random person she met that spoke a little bit of English, and said, I will give you this $100 bill if you can just take us around to the local spots. We don't want the tourist areas. Just take us. $100 bill to them was who knows what.
Oh
back
yeah, that's like $1,000 or more. Yeah.
And we could have ended up dead. I could have ended up trafficked. At that point, everything went perfect.
Yeah, it wasn't that way back then.
No. And in Costa Rica, she met up with some guy. I don't know where she met him, but he had a young daughter my age, and we went out on his fishing boat and, drinking. They were drinking the whatever out of coconuts, I'm sure rum, but, out of the coconuts, me and the little girl jumped ship and swam to the shore. You don't do stuff like that anymore.
No, you don't.
No, you can't.
You don't. Yeah. Yeah.
What?
Nowadays you have to have a passport just to go anywhere. Back then you didn't have to.
Yeah, we did. I mean, we had our passports.
I think you still had to have a passport from Mexico, but in Canada you didn't. You just, just showed your driver's license and you got across.
My parents were from Bulgaria. When we went to Canada, it was they have a ceremony. Bulgarians have a ceremony where, you have to have godmother or godfather for your child, but you have to have both. And I had to stand in. I wish I put lime in the coconut.
Put the lime in the coconut and swish it all around.
But,
That was a good movie.
It was such a different time that, we went there. I spoke Bulgarian. A lot of people in Canada are Bulgarian. And I stood in as 13-year-old, I think, as the godmother's place for my little sister. But the godfather was somebody that my dad actually knew in Bulgaria 40 years before. They'd escaped together. So, Canada I love Canada. It was
Oh,
just,
I was so close to moving there. So close.
I don't know where I was, but it was, we got to see the Canadian border, the American border, the falls, all of that. But I don't know
Yeah.
how close I was to that in our final destination. But
Yeah, there's some beautiful falls across Canada. I mean, up in the BC area, and you get up in that neck of the woods. Oh my gosh, it's beautiful falls.
yeah,
I've actually gone to Canada.
I know they have, what do they call that? Centralized healthcare, where everybody gets healthcare equally. It doesn't matter how much money you have or don't have, or,
Right.
I don't know what they call that, but it's,
Universal.
yeah, I don't know if that's good or bad, simply because,
Well, I think there's pros and cons on both sides of that.
yeah,
And being in holistic, when I was up there at the same time, and the people that I ran around with up there were holistic. Yeah,
Mm.
Washington's pretty cool too. And but there were things that were blacklisted that you couldn't buy in the health food stores up there, and
Mm,
then other things you could buy up there that were blacklisted here in the States.
yeah, it's really strange. Well, even now, California blacklists so many things that we can get here.
I had somebody I talked to. I was on a show the other day, and he was out in Beverly Hills, actually right on Beverly Hills Boulevard, right?
Mhm, mhm.
And he's like, he says he was like shocked. He hadn't been in California for a while. He says so many people have left California. He said like the freeways are like empty. I said, get out of here. He said, no. He said they were driving down Beverly Hills, highway, just down the street, whatever. And he said, you're just driving like you were in a foreign town, just were out in Podunk somewhere. I said, you got to be
Wow.
joking. That
I
was weird.
remember going there. It was, I hate cities. I'm a country girl. I hate cities. I hate driving in cities.
Yeah, they're
But-
all moving here. You got that right, Jan.
But, it was like LA was okay to drive in. I wasn't scared in LA because it was so packed that everybody was going so slow. You weren't going to get in an accident at that point unless somebody wasn't paying attention when you start moving the 5 feet.
That's where I get extremely impatient because I've got places to go to.
Well, it's funny how you said that.
Not.
It's funny how you said that, Adrian, because my brother, he has a new roommate of his, and he was originally from Arkansas, and he now officially lives here in Chicago. But what's funny is that when his parents first started, in this case, they still live down in Arkansas, and they have different views of when they come up, in this case, to a city like Chicago.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, like he said, his mom loves it, but his dad hates it because, again, just like what you said, Adrian, is because of all the traffic and stuff. When you look at a state like Arkansas in this case, I mean, yeah, you got Little Rock in that case, but that's mostly, again,
Yeah, you can't call that a city.
well,
You
not
can
even.
go around Little Rock if you want to. I have.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah,
no,
you
that's
can.
what I mean. It's like maybe Little Rock. I mean, if you kind of look at it in some way, shape, or form, but obviously Arkansas is obviously much more of a rural state. So it's like when I learned that his dad hates it, it's like, well, now I can understand why Adrian chooses to be out in the country. No different than what his dad thinks.
Well, let me
Yeah.
tell you, my dad, coming from Bulgaria, I don't know what the driving is like in Bulgaria. I ain't going to claim to even try to figure that out. But we lived in Kansas, a little town in Kansas called Mankato. It was tiny. We went to Chicago. we went to Chicago for the premiere of Cats.
Oh, Cats, yeah.
My dad had a heart attack driving in Chicago. Literally had a heart attack in the car while we were driving in Chicago.
Wow.
Yeah. Nope.
Well, I mean, at least we're not the worst. I know Atlanta, Georgia has it even worse than we do.
I don't think
Atlanta
so.
was really bad.
Because when I drove through Atlanta, it was hot. And so our car overheated. I was young. We had a piece of crap car. So it kept overheating. So there was no air conditioning. We had to turn it off. And we sat in this huge line for like 4 hours. I don't know what the temperature was, but thank goodness I didn't have the baby with me. But it wasn't that crazy because you weren't moving, but about 5 feet every 10 minutes. So
I
I'm
think
okay with
how
that.
it was over in, I think it was China some years ago. They had a traffic jam that lasted 6 days.
Seriously?
6
In
days.
China?
Yeah,
Wow.
I think
That's
I
it
when
was.
you get
never
out
knew
and walk
anything about
home.
that.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
That's when you want those little flying planes or those like the cars that can go up, high and the wheels are underneath it and you just drive over top of everybody like, so you can go in between them.
The Jetsons type stuff.
Yeah.
I'm ready for that.
Yeah. Nick, do you know what the Jetsons are?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
It may have, I'm just going to say it right now. It may have been a show that started back in the 60s. Just remember, growing up in the 90s, we used to have that. Well, I know it still runs, but it sucks nowadays. When Cartoon Network used to air a lot of those old cartoons from that era. So I may have not been from that era, but I grew up with those shows even then. Too bad they don't show it anymore. That sucks.
According to
Sucks.
Back to the Future, we should have had flying cars 10 years ago.
Well, they've
I
got
even
some out
remember
there
when
now.
I still remember even 25, almost 25 years later, they had something on a channel. Well, again, this channel sucks too now. It was on Nickelodeon. They had something called Nick Millennium, and they were asking kids, what are we going to expect in this new century? And they were also talking, flying cars, all this stuff. What the hell is it?
It's
We're
here.
in 2024.
They
Yeah,
exist.
they're here.
Now.
They're far and few in between, but they cost
exist.
your, it costs you an arm and a leg and your firstborn. So, yeah.
I don't know. Some of us might give up our firstborn.
Yeah, she does talk a lot of smack to me. Oh, jeez.
Well,
Yeah,
she
we
talks a
still
lot
had
of
this
smack.
disagreement.
Everybody.
So you're
I'm
originally
still
from
fair.
Chicago. I hear you, Jan.
Jan, I'm still a Bears
Lived in
fan no matter
Wisconsin
what.
13 years.
Yeah, she says our Bears suck, but they try though. I'm still a fan no matter what.
I'll take him. That's her firstborn.
Packers fan.
Yeah, I traveled all over Illinois back in the late 90s and the first the 2000s up until about 2006 or 7. Did a lot of workshops in the bookstores out there and
Speaking
holistic
of
places.
bookstores, I see that you have a bestseller on Amazon. A book.
Yeah,
that you-
I have several out there. Yeah.
Well, I looked you up. I see a couple of different names. One that's just Beverly Zeimet, and then there's one that's Beverly A. Zeimet.
That's the same one.
Okay. So essential oils made easy.
Mhm.
The
I had my own essential oil business for about 20 years.
okay. The power formula.
Mhm.
Uh,
And then there's another one. I don't think it's a bestseller yet. The which side of the fence are you on?
Yep, I
And,
just found that one.
and
Um,
then
I
and
see
then I
another one that has yours and another person's name on it called Leaders with a Heart.
mhm. Yeah, I did I think 3 or 4 collaborated books already.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I see that you have Amazon bestseller IPPY award. Is that
Yeah.
IPPY award? Okay, and then there's one that looks like a certificate. It's a little blurry.
Yeah. I think that's the one for the one with the heart.
Well, this one here says "My Journey, My Journal."
My journal. Oh yeah. Oh my god, that was from someone out of South America, I believe it was.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, how many books altogether do you have?
Oh gosh, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, probably 7 or 8.
Awesome.
I
Okay.
got a few more in the works. I've got one that I really need to just buckle down and do, and it's all around my journeys of all the alien contacts and a lot of the paranormal stuff. And yeah, I'll tell you a story. One time I was living in Las Vegas, so this had to been around 92, 93, and I'm sitting on the couch and I'm talking to a friend of mine because we were doing psychic surgery work and stuff, right? And she was going through some stuff and we were clearing some things, right? And I'm like, um, I just, I just, I just got a view of Abraham Lincoln standing on my stairs, and she goes, "Oh yeah, he's one of her leaders that follows her around and stuff." And so he had a message for her, right? And it's like, all right. So that was interesting. And then another time there was an Indian chief sitting in one of the chairs and having a conversation, and she wasn't paying attention. And I said, "Well, you better start paying attention because some of your guys are getting a little pissed off at you because you're not paying attention." She goes, "I kind of figured that, but anyways, it was quite interesting."
Yeah.
But I tell you,
Abraham,
that was a shock when Abraham Lincoln standing in my on my stairs, like, whoa.
I have a recording of my grandma. Abraham Lincoln was her cousin. And
Oh wow.
she remembers, because before she passed away, we recorded her voice telling stories. And one of them was Abraham Lincoln as a teenager came to her house. Of course, she didn't know anything about him, didn't care. But she said he was just so huge, just like monster huge. And his hands were so large that she was scared of him. Of course, I don't know how old she was at that point, but she said she was just scared of his hands and just how large he looked. He didn't have the beard or any of that stuff going on. And she said that, but by the time he left, she absolutely adored him because he was just so soft-spoken
And gentle,
and mild-mannered. Yeah. Yeah. And that's really the only story I remember hearing. Yeah. But of course, that I was adopted into this family. It's not my blood. But it was really cool to hear her, tell that story. And I'm like, of course, I was like 12, 11 at that time. I'm like, wait a minute. Abraham, like, oh,
that
I never heard about him in school. And then Zach has a life-size picture of him here on the wall. And I'm like, okay, him staring at me is really creepy.
I'll tell you, he was a man of few words. Yeah, and it's like, yeah. But you know, he was very staunch, and when he spoke, you listened.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, from what I understand, his wife was very, very ugly to him. And she was the leader in the house. She was just ugly. Not physically ugly, but just ugly.
Yeah.
Mean. And, I have to imagine at some point in his life, he had to say,
Enough,
as much as he didn't talk much, he had to say, shut the hell up. I'm tired of hearing you. I mean, at some point it had to happen. Because no way. No way. I couldn't do it. Mm-mm.
Every now and then we get to feeling about somebody.
Yes, very
right. Right.
Please bring me peace. Shut up.
The problem is, though, some of us don't say it. We just either log out of Facebook or, whatever. No,
it's really nice. It's really nice now, when you got a cell phone. It's like you just lose
Yeah.
service. You can hang up on people and they think, oh, dead zone.
Yep. No, my dumbass does not do that. I say, all right, I don't know
Jan.
what you're doing with this, but you need to shut up because
That's not to say that Jan and I have not had, 2, 3, 4-hour conversations on the phone.
There's airplane mode, Jerry. Well,
Yeah.
that makes smooth, Jerry, because I've had those just as long as those phone calls with Jan too.
And I've had those conversations with you as well.
Yep,
Well,
those two. That is absolutely correct.
But obviously, they got to be interesting to last that long. I mean, I've been on the phone, hours at a time with people, and it's just you don't realize that much hours has gone by, and a lot of times.
Well,
right.
It's not so much. We are. It's not so much that we are not that interested. It's just that some of us, myself included, lose the capability of being able to shut up.
Yeah, I've been able.
Jeremy, remember before I moved here, we were on the phone for hours.
Yes, we were. And then I was able to get rid of you and got you over to Zach. And now he gets to talk to you for 4 hours at a time.
Zach? Shit. I'm lucky if we have 3 sentences on a weekday. No,
Well, I'll be honest with you guys too. Even after, like, when I was on Japan, that show went on for like 4 hours, and then after that, I was still chatting with Amanda and Irene for another 2 after the show was over. So it was like a 6-hour chat that we had.
Yeah,
I remember those nights. Now it's like I get the hell out of here as soon as I can.
Hey, well, let's not forget, Jeremy, that one time when we had Greg on and we were going on with the show for 6.5 hours from like 7 p.m. to 1 o'clock in the morning.
And we still had a bunch of people watching us.
Yeah, we did. It was a really good show.
Go back and listen to that. You need to go back and listen to yourself right there where you just said that.
What?
Because that one time, it sounded just like you were getting ready to say, this one time at band camp. Go back and listen to yourself. I was interested in that story.
Yeah.
That one time at band camp. Oh, wait, Nick, I haven't done this in a very long time. Boobies.
Oh, God damn it, Adrian. I would have thought you would have forgotten that by now. God damn it.
I'm old. I don't have Alzheimer's.
Actually, you know what? Adrian, having said that, I'm going to write that down in my short story ideas.
Yeah, it's like that one time with beef sticks.
In band camp.
Yeah, everybody that's on here right now is like family. So these stupid little things that we were going to the Holy Cross Abbey in Canyon, Colorado. And we found it in a dollar store somewhere on the way up there from Greeley. We found beef sticks that were called Nick sticks.
No, you weren't with us with that. That was when we were on our way back home. We were at a gas station.
No, we got a picture of it. We got a picture of you holding them.
No, I don't think.
Yeah, Tammy was the one that took that. That was at a gas station.
That was at a gas station. That was me, Jeremy, Scott, and Tammy that took that picture.
Yeah, I think that was when we were on our way home when that picture happened.
Well, we took one on the way up there with you at a dollar store with Nick sticks.
I wasn't there for that one then.
It was when Jan threw a fit because she had to pee.
Yeah, I would have. Okay, I would have been. I wouldn't have been around.
You were definitely around because.
Well, no, I was around. I guess I just
Yeah.
wasn't there for the picture.
Yes, you were holding them.
No, that was when That's what Jeremy said. That's when I held the picture. That was when we were on our way back home.
So this must be a different
We took
picture
one
that
too.
Adrian's talking about.
I never saw that picture.
You may not have saw it, but you were in it.
Jan, do you have that picture that you can send to one of us?
Yeah, because I'm not. I'm not sure which, because the only picture I could think of is the one that we took when we were on our way back.
That was when you were walking through that other dimension.
Yeah. Yeah, 'cause, we must have either traveled this way or this way because I was standing there watching you with that damn thing of sticks.
You know, I gotta just say real quick because I was thinking of another funny comment like this one time and stuff like that. There's actually a show host I know. I bring them up a lot. They're called the Three J's. And Jay Lynch, he talked about one of his shows where he says he has a brother of his who always goes like, "Oh, buddy of mine, a buddy of mine, a buddy of mine." You know those guys. It's never them. It's always a buddy of mine. He's always like, from what I heard, is he loves his brother. He does. He's a knucklehead, but he's always like, "Oh, a buddy of mine," or back when I was in the Army. Dude, that was 30 years ago. You're not in it anymore. But yeah, it's always the same thing. It's always a buddy fight. It's like, come on, man. Do you ever do anything?
Sometimes we have to live through our friends because we don't get to go through it.
Scott might have taken it. That's what Jan said.
Scott might have taken it, yeah.
Well, Jeremy, you're going to have to get a hold of Scott then about it.
Well, any of us can get a hold of Scott.
Yeah, we can get a hold of him.
Right?
Because I'm not remembering this other picture. I really don't.
I'm not either. The only thing that I remember most about that little trip there, besides looking for the bathroom, is how everybody was kind of doing like a little tidbit shopping there in that dollar store after everybody.
Where I got my sunflower dishes. Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember that, but I don't remember anything about beef steaks.
Yeah, I was getting ready to go pay, and he found them and said, "Look," and we took a picture.
Look, they got my name on them.
It's chaos.
Yeah, you damn sure did.
This is what we call the Mandela effect.
Yeah.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah. Jan created chaos because she had a UTI at the time and had to go to the bathroom, and it was miles and miles and miles before there was a bathroom. And when we got there, Burger King was not going to let you use the bathroom. Thank you, honey. Mm-hmm. Burger King was not going to let you use the bathroom because I guess vagrants go in there and do bad things. So, yeah, and we went to the dollar store, and you had to have a key, and somebody was in there, and nobody would get out, and it would turn into a really bad deal.
That's when you just stop along the side of the road, open up the 2-car doors, and park it, you know?
You know, we were close.
Really, no bathrooms were open. I almost pissed in the parking lot yelling at all the people camped out. I remember.
Guys,
now that I remember.
That can cook.
Well, look at there.
He can cook.
Now that's a feast.
That was actually a Burger King. That wasn't a McDonald's. That was a Burger King.
Well, that was no Burger King on her desk.
No. And he even made the barbecue sauce himself.
Well, there you go. Now you're making me hungry. I was just thinking, it's like, man, I haven't had anything all day. I better go get something.
That makes two of us. I haven't had dinner yet today. Well, tonight, excuse me.
Well, I just ate right before the show.
Well, earlier, I mean, literally just about maybe less than 40 minutes before we were supposed to originally get started, I'd actually been sleeping all day because, unfortunately, I had one of my headaches today, so I had to kind of take the ibuprofen, and then I had to rest up after a while, so that kind of ruined the schedule. These headaches.
You didn't work today?
What's that?
You didn't work today?
Actually, I did. I did work today. See, long story short, starting this week is where my days off are now going to be different. Because before, as you guys probably remembered, I usually had Mondays and Thursdays off. Well, now starting this week, I was going to start having Sundays and Fridays off. Although I actually am going to be working tomorrow. I switched my days off from Friday to Saturday because tomorrow night I'm actually going to cousins of mine's wedding tomorrow night. So partying out again.
Oh my God, thank you.
So yeah, I'll be understandably we're probably going to go late. So we're switching out. I'm switching Saturday so that way if we do go, obviously so I could sleep in. Now you know what to
Sleep in.
call me, Jan. What the hell is that?
She knows when to call you. She knows your days
Oh,
off.
when to call me? Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, since you put it that way, yeah. Now she knows when to call me because yeah, I'm working tomorrow, but starting next week officially, I'm going to start having Sundays and Fridays off.
Do you ever get your days together?
What is that? What's that supposed to be?
Like Friday and Saturday or Saturday and Sunday?
I guess.
Well, that's
Well,
what
and
most people prefer.
Well, honestly, I mean, these are definitely the days my boss at work suggested I should start having Fridays off, which I didn't have an issue with at all. Sundays, they needed to go because I had an incident 2 months ago. It was right after the last wedding that I went to that really ruined plans around. I think, you know what? I can't do Sundays anymore. This was the final straw. They had to go. Although they did say every once in a while they'll probably need me for a Sunday, but that's just kind of more if we get closer to holidays.
They're coming quickly.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Contrary
Too fast.
to popular belief, it does start getting really crazy. I mean, everyone thinks just wait a month from now, like once we hit Thanksgiving. That's not actually the case. Even Halloween, it can get really crazy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, this is just the beginning. I mean, now from Halloween till even with Valentine's Day and St. Patrick's Day and of course Easter next year, that continues. So from Halloween all the way up till Easter next year, it's going to be crazy for the next several months.
Yeah, but nothing is on the crazy level as it is the month between Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
That's our peak season for my job. So luckily we get off at 6 o'clock regardless. It's shut down. The company is shut down at 6 o'clock. So it's not going to affect the shows, but I'll be taking overtime on Fridays and, I won't get Fridays off like I usually do.
Yeah.
That's all right.
Yeah, so that'll be affecting your other show.
No, because I can choose my hours. That's overtime. So I can choose what hours I want.
Okay.
No, that's always nice.
Yeah. Yeah. When you volunteer for overtime, it's volunteer. It's you don't get volunteered. You say, okay, yeah, I can work till 10 o'clock. No big deal.
Well, I'm hoping I don't have to work overtime in this case when I'm working because like I said, with these holidays and stuff, I mean, I'm not even supposed to be working overtime. I mean, maybe a half hour or so, but that's as far as I can go.
Yeah, you're lucky. Jan is asking Beverly, what are your plans for the rest of the year?
What are my plans for the rest of the year? Well, I've got some courses I'm putting up online. I've got a couple events that are going on. Everything's in virtual reality. So, man, just doing my thing.
What kind of courses?
The courses that I used to teach when I was traveling. So I've turned them into online courses. And so I'll start teaching them also in that virtual reality space. I'll teach them live in there.
Halloween is Christmas decor shopping.
That's true. I mean, that's like that for me.
Oh, please. Christmas comes out in September.
Yeah, well, that's true. Yeah, they're already selling Christmas stuff already. Not at our store. We still got our Halloween stuff, but we're already getting the food products when it comes to Christmas stuff. So it's coming. It's definitely
Walmart's
coming.
already got Christmas up.
Oh, they've had Christmas up, like you said, for a month already, which is ridiculous.
Costco's got their stuff up too.
Well, back in July when I was over there at Adrian and Zach's, when Zach and I went to the mall, he pointed out that they were building a Halloween store in that one of those empty stores there in the mall. There's, I think it was Spirit Halloween.
Did you guys see? I almost did you guys see that? Because you just brought up Spirit Halloween, Jeremy. There's been advertisements. Looks like Spirit Halloween has decided to take it one step further. Looks like they want to start operating a Christmas division of it, obviously called Spirit Christmas. Did you guys hear about that?
Somebody brought that up to me the other day, and the first thing that I thought of was Bronner's Christmas Wonderland.
Yeah, they're starting a looks like in order to kind of in a way continue business, they want to start a Christmas division of their store, in this case Spirit Christmas. And I mean, I don't know if it's official, but they've been like making advertisements of it. I don't know if it's going to be, it might be later this year or maybe next year, I'm not sure, but they want to see how it's going to work if they decide to give, in this case, Christmas a shot.
I don't think it's a bad idea, because when I went to Bronner's, oh man,
It does, Jan. It does. I
years
remember
ago.
before Christmas takes a whole new meaning. Well, it's not a bad idea too, because like when I worked there a few years back, I had one of the people that worked there was actually a high school friend of mine, and they were originally going to start a business of her own that would sell like during different times of the year. So she would not only just have this business open, in this case for Halloween, she would have it open for Thanksgiving, for Christmas, for New Year's, Valentine's Day, St. Patrick's Day, Easter, 4th of July even. I mean, she wanted to go to try to keep business going, but for whatever reason, I never heard back whatever, those plans were going to be.
So that would mean that they would need to have a permanent location and to be able to have enough business to be able to sustain 12 months
Right.
business.
Well, and it's been a few years. This was back in 2017 that she was originally going to do this. And of course, I said I'd be more than happy, to be one of her first employees to, help her out. But again, those plans never materialized.
No, it would take a name like Spirit Halloween to make that happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess in this case, Spirit is going to give Spirit Christmas a shot, see how that goes. Should be interesting.
I don't know. My favorite deck of tarot cards is from Spirit Halloween, so maybe they got something cool for Christmas. I don't know.
Yeah. But yeah, surprisingly, we don't have our Christmas, other than food products, we don't have our Christmas stuff up yet, which Beverly, I'm sure you're going to know this story because this was kind of a Chicago-based story. Wait, maybe not. Because since, again, you heard of the store Mariano's, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where I work. So that's.
Oh, at Mariano's?
Yeah, it's not really.
Yeah, we used to go over there all the time. We go to Mariano's.
Yeah, it's not, honestly, I mean, it's a great place to shop. It's not really the best place as far as work is concerned, but, at least we're being smart of like not getting our Christmas stuff up yet. So we still got our Halloween stuff up.
Yeah, they have really good grapefruit juice.
Yeah, they do. I used to help make it sometimes, actually.
Oh, did you?
I hated it, but every once in a while I had to do it.
Yeah. My friend up there got me hooked on it now, and I'm like, oh my god! But I'll tell you, I'd rather drink it that way than have to cut it open and dig all the stuff out. It's like, oh man.
Yeah.
So.
All right. So tell us a little bit about this metaverse that you are in. How did that all come to be in that you got involved in that?
Well, it goes back to the online courses. When I was running the circuit, because I lived in an RV, right? and I'd just go from town to town, and I'd be booked, and all I had to do was show up, do my classes, work with people, one-on-one or whatever, stay there as long as I wanted to, and then head on down the road to the next town. They'd have everything ready for me, and it was great. I mean, I did that for a long time. And then online courses started coming online, were on the internet, and it's like, oh, so people decided they didn't need to do butts in the seats anymore. So it's like I need to find me a way to do something. I took a sabbatical and come back, and it was like a whole different world. And so I just kind of played it by ear to see where things were headed. And a mutual friend introduced me and Robert, and we just got to talking. And he had just been dabbling a little bit in the virtual reality spaces, and so I told him what I was looking for, another place to do classes, to teach classes online. And so he started showing me some gaming platforms, and that's like, no, I'm looking more for like classroom style or whatever. I'm not into this game thing. 2 months later, he shows me this university that he built out. So it looked like a campus at a university, and we were outside, and I'm like, okay, he had his avatar, and I'm like, he got my attention. And so then he runs inside, runs down a hallway, goes into a classroom, and there was desks, and everything with the computers on top, and then a desk up front for the teacher, whiteboard, everything. It's like, all right, you really got my attention. It's not quite my style of teaching because I'd rather do auditorium, with chairs out and whatever. And he goes, 1 second. He runs out of the room, goes down the hallway, goes up 2 flights of stairs, runs back down the hallway, runs through the door, runs up, jumps on the stage, and voila. He was on the stage in an auditorium. I said, sold. How do I get in here? And I was in hook, line, and sinker. That was 6 years ago, and I've never looked back. So yeah.
Wow.
But I mean, now it's at least, more people are starting to pay attention. They're starting to not quite be so afraid of it. And the Zoom era has run its gamut. People are starting to get a little bit tired of Zoom. So the advantages of being in virtual reality, like what you see behind me. So we're all in these little, they call them squares, but they're rectangles. I never understood that. But when you can see avatars sitting there, right? And we're across the table from each other. We are in the same space having a conversation. So we could have this conversation in virtual reality in our avatars, right? And everybody's listening in. So it doesn't matter where you are, but you're together. You're there side by side, and your brain says, "Oh my gosh, there's somebody here." So being connected, it actually gives you that feeling of being connected because you are, and then in that immersive space, and it's always ready for you, and your avatars are always ready for you. So there's the ability, when you look at the science behind it, the ability to learn, retain, recall increases exponentially because you are automatically into like an alpha state. So it's pretty powerful when it comes to that. And what we're looking to do is build communities inside these virtual reality spaces where people can do business. They can scale their businesses. There's so much more you can do, So instead of building, a convention hall and having a show or a summit or a retreat, whatever the case might be, when you build it once, you got to tear it down and it goes bye-bye. Well, when you do it in virtual reality, it's there to use over and over and over. And trade shows are always a lot of fun things to have. That trade show booth can become your walk-in website because it's always there. These spaces are open 24/7 on every single device, which now means what? You don't have to wait for somebody to open up this room and have technical difficulties, because if you can't get in, the people who is the audience is going to be there till you
Okay.
can come
Yeah.
in. That's the difference.
So how would that work for, or not how would that work for something like rooms for, let's say Reiki or mediumship or, things like that?
Mhm. Well, okay, so Reiki is a frequency. You don't have to
Right.
be present in the room,
Right.
right? There's a lot of modalities that you don't have to be present with. And it's it's a quiet space. I mean, you could have it set up like a massage type of room, decked
Mhm.
out with crystals and everything, or you could be out underneath the stars
Mhm.
and laying on, like, say, a yoga mat or a special design mat laying on the ground, so your avatar is just laying there, right? And the person's working on you. You're going to feel it. You're
Right.
going to feel it even more. So the avatar is there, both avatars are there, and you're experiencing it. Is everything is quiet. There's no static noise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That actually sounds like a really good idea. You need to get with Zach. What the hell? You need to get with Zach so that we can get this on the page, because I think I want to make a room out of that. I do crystal healing, I do Reiki, I do mediumship.
Well, let's get you on our Soul Fest. We're doing a Soul Fest mastery where Beverly's putting together 60 modalities. So I'm looking for healers, 60
Okay.
modalities. And everything will be in the virtual reality space, and then we'll be selling tickets for
Mhm.
the experience. So like at a $500 ticket for a full year,
Mhm.
they can, the audience every 6 days will experience a new modality. One modality every 6 days. So
Mhm.
it's not like you get lost in the crowd. You don't,
Right.
right? And it's actually hands-on. So we're kind of setting it up to where it'd be like a 3-hour event. So people come in that first, 15, 20 minutes to half an hour and kind of interact, introduce each other, and what are you looking to get out of this? Are you familiar with this kind of modality? Da 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 da. And some will, some won't, whatever. And
Mhm.
it's like, all right, well, let's all get started. So everybody is sitting down in their little seats or on their pads, or however you set your space up. And it's like, okay, so what we're going to do for the intention, you set an intention, because we always know when there's an intention set, things get, it's just better, right?
Mhm.
It just picks up the momentum. And then you do that deep breathing and get them in a relax, and you'll find they'll go down into a relaxed state really fast.
Mhm.
And and then you start doing the Reiki. So it's just a general session that
Mhm.
you're going to put out these, frequencies, this healing, and accept what is going to work for you, and let
Mhm.
the rest pass through and move through the household for someone else, or whatever, however you do your Reiki, right? And doing things like that. And then so you're going to do a session of anywhere's up to like a 45-hour at the most session, but
Mhm.
try to go as far as 45 minutes, between 45 minutes and an hour. And then you're going to bring them back into the space, and then start a Q&A. Well, how do you feel? What did you feel? And that type of thing. And now you're interacting with them again. This will get you leads for other clients,
Right.
right?
Right.
So where you can actually start doing more business, right? Every one of these healers that come in are all going to be an affiliate with each other, and it's going to be a community of healers. So if you have one modality that you're doing, then then there's just the charge for one modality. If you have more, you can do up to 3 modalities,
Okay.
right? But they have to be completely different,
Right. Right.
right? So you said you could do crystals, you do sound, and you do Reiki, all different,
Mhm.
Right. So now you get, but they're not all done at the same time. So now you get 3 weeks throughout that year. And now you're going to be in the face of people more often
Mhm.
doing something different. So it just gets your exposure out there. But we
Right.
teach you how to do other things in your space at the same time.
This kind of sounds like something that Jan would be interested in doing as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
Oh, she will be with me, I promise you.
Well, I'm sure she's still watching right now, so I'm sure she'd be all on
She's
board.
my
for
other
that.
half. She's my other half. She will be there with me, I promise.
She's
Yeah,
literally the other half.
She really is. She really is.
Yeah, and so that it's to help humanity
Mhm.
realize
Yep, she's paying
the
attention.
modalities that are out there, right? She's
We
paying
need to
attention.
talk about that when you get here.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Yes,
So I think, are we friends in Facebook or LinkedIn?
Yeah, no, I don't have LinkedIn, but yeah, we are in Facebook.
On Facebook?
Yeah.
All right.
Well, I've sent you a friend request on Facebook.
I'm about to do that too.
Okay. That means I'll have to open up Facebook.
Maybe.
Yeah, you might
I
have
don't
to.
I don't go in there that often.
I know we've
However,
talked on Facebook.
I'm not sure.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Ruh-roh.
But LinkedIn, I'm on it. I'll do a search for you.
Okay, we are now.
Now.
You are now?
I sent you a friend's request. Yep. I know we've talked on there. I don't know how we talked on there without being friends because I don't allow people to send me messages without being friends. I don't know.
I don't know. Well, I'm looking in my inbox and I'm not seeing it come across here.
I hope the hell that was the right one.
Okay.
I think I only know one of me that's out there.
There's two. One does not have any kind of picture. Nothing.
Oh, that might be that closed account.
Yeah, probably. And the other one says 1.5K followers, owner and CEO at Alternative Solutions.
Oh, that'd be me.
Yeah, that's the one I sent it to.
All right, so
Are you
this is
talking
going to
about the
be
one on
another. This is
Facebook?
another crazy question. Okay, how do I find a friend request? I just haven't been on Facebook in a long time.
I'll tell you what. Let me send you a message on Messenger.
Okay, I'll do that on my phone. Let me pull it up on my phone.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
it should have
can just
sent
look
you a
up.
notification.
Yeah, just look up my profile from the chat.
Oh, the chat in here. Oh my gosh! Now I gotta go find it.
Where's Jesse? I don't see Jesse.
No, not
I don't see
not in the
Jesse
StreamYard, the Messenger chat that I just sent you.
The Facebook chat.
Messenger.
Messenger. There's Messenger. Okay. Could that be Jeremy York?
That's him.
Mhm.
Okay. I gotcha. So does that mean we're friends now?
Well, you have to open up my profile.
I have to open up your
Then-
profile? Well,
then-
we've been
then-
talking on here a lot from the looks of it, Jeremy. All
He's
right, let me go.
silently stalking. Hey, sexy, don't silently stalk. Jump out and say hi.
He's silently stalking.
He's such a
Okay.
sweetheart.
It's the quiet ones you got to look out for.
No, he is so sweet. Well, now,
Well,
yeah, now you piss him off. Yeah. That's a whole different story. If I did that, I'd just go.
Well, we must be friends because I don't see anything that says we're not.
Well, it should say accept request or something like that.
Well, I'm not seeing anything about accept request.
Okay, well, hold on. I
ain't
canceled it.
quiet.
I'm sending
He
you
is.
a new one.
Are you on your Facebook right now? Go up to the little bell on top.
Go up to the little bell on top. Okay.
Yeah, it should say so and so sent you a friend's request.
Yeah, I just sent you a new one.
No, it doesn't say friends request, but I do have a message from you.
Huh.
Yeah, if you open up that message up at the top, if you click on something, I don't. Let's see, you're on your phone.
Should be a little bell.
Well,
So
Yeah,
if you click on the eye in the top right hand corner, it'll bring up a little menu and it'll show my name, and then profile underneath that. If you click on it,
well, I went to your profile.
okay,
Okay, respond. Let's see.
There you
Sent
go.
you a
That's
friend
the one.
request.
Yeah, that's the one.
Confirm. Okay, done.
All right, guys, we are way past time.
Well,
Yeah,
we were
and
also
Yes,
kind of,
we
we were
are.
also kind of late too with the technical issues we had.
That doesn't stop the show behind us, though.
Yeah, I know. I know.
They don't say, oops, well, they had technical issues. I think I'll wait another 30 minutes.
Yeah, I
No,
know.
they don't.
Actually, they're not on the Facebook page, but they are on the YouTube page. A
Really?
lot of people have been having issues connecting with the Facebook page.
Okay, Adrian, I just confirmed yours.
So,
All right, perfect.
now Jesse's responding to us.
But I didn't see Nick. So
I'm
but
actually just doing that right now. I was having an issue again with my phone, so I'm going to do that right.
He's blonde. You just can't see it. He's blonde from the roots down.
What? How am I blonde? What's that got to do with anything? Okay, I guess.
We'll have that discussion some other
see,
time.
he really is blonde. He didn't even get it.
I just sent you the friend request now, Beverly.
We'll discuss that right after.
Okay,
we
I
discuss
just
movies.
clicked on it. Okay, cool. All right. So Adrian, send me your phone number. I'll put it in mine, and then I'll send you mine, and
I will do that. I will
and then
do that. I will send you on
you'll
Messenger.
not get in touch.
Yeah, because I'm going to be kind of curious now. This whole thing about me being blonde.
We will have that discussion as soon as we complete the discussion on boobies.
And no, Nick, that'll
I'm
be a
not gonna touch
conversation
that
that
one.
will never ever happen.
Yeah, it will never happen.
Well, Adrian, you and Jen and I'll get together and we'll talk about
Howie,
we'll talk
God
about
damn it,
VR
Adrian.
and we'll talk about Soulfest. Somebody got to change the subject here.
Yeah, well, guess what? Now you got Howie's attention. Thanks, Adrian.
Howie, if you say those words, you can see right now he's got pink lights for that reason.
No, it's actually, I
No,
know
they're
it looks
pink.
pink
I
on
promise
camera,
you
but
they're
it's
pink.
actually purple.
They're pink. Watch. Look back at the show. They're pink. Now, if you say those words, his face turns redder than that pink.
Which is why before his camera was always like in a black and white thing, so you couldn't tell if he was blushing or not.
That's
Because
right.
I've been having
That's
issues
exactly
with
why
my
he does that.
upstairs computer. That's why I've been using the laptop.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that's right. Boobies.
Don't ask Jesse. He is colorblind.
Well, that's okay. He can still see when the shade of his face turns darker.
Instead of shades of gray, we got shades of red.
Yeah, we
look
do.
what you done. Adrian, look what you've done. Now look what Howie's doing. Look what you started.
Boobies.
So,
Well, guys,
but
I'm gonna
we
call
have-
it a night. Go get me something to eat, and it's been a long day, and
It
I got
It makes two of us.
It's been a long damn
So-
week.
So
yeah.
for those of you out there in the audience, thank you for playing along. We don't know what we're going to be doing next week.
Shades of
Um,
red.
We're gonna have that discussion live with Mick.
Oh, God damn it.
That's what we're gonna do.
Okay, next week's show has been confirmed.
We're gonna have Boobies 101.
I'm
That's
more
what we're gonna
curious.
do.
Well, honestly, I'm more curious of what. Oh, geez, look now. Jan said she'll come on to that one.
Let's do this, girl. Let's
Well,
do this.
I'm more curious. Honestly, I'm more curious about the conversation of blondness than that.
And-
Okay, so we
and
have
for
to
this-
get through. You know, Sex 101 is we have to go through the stages. Okay, so we have to start with movies, then we go to blonde.
Well, we will make sure that we will have Eileen on this show. And as a special favor for you, Nick,
Oh no!
take a week off.
You're taking a week off. You just came back.
And well, actually, it's the following week that I'm going to need to take the week off. But I was thinking, okay, if you guys are going to have this kind of conversation, I think it'll be better towards the torturing of Nick if I wasn't on the show. Because he will not have me to back
Hey, you
him
know,
up.
have it during the week of Halloween, and that way he can dress up.
Oh God, no! Not on Halloween. Not on Halloween.
Yes, because that way we can have fake ones and show you,
Oh God.
and it won't get banned.
There you go, Nick. That's
Now I'm
every man's
so
dream
not
right
looking
there.
forward to next week's show.
3 girls
All
and a
right, folks,
guy.
we need to get off of here. The other show is on YouTube actually.
Shut up, Jen. Shut up, Jen.
Well, it's been a
This is a Lady
pleasure.
Bar
Thank
show.
you so much, and we'll be talking. There's no doubt about it.
Definitely. We're definitely gonna have you back on soon.
Okay.
And,
We'll
and
check
we,
it out,
we
Allie.
will work on getting you to come back on this show again another time too.
Well, that's what I said. That's what I just said.
Did you-
I thought that's what you said.
So,
I
Jack,
don't
we're just
listen
about
half
to
the
end.
time, so. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for playing along, and we will see you all next week.
Cheers.
Have a good night.
Good night, y'all.